Now, before I begin, I want to try something with all of you here. Now, here I have a normal bottle of soda. And give me a few seconds. Okay? So as you can see, on the outside, it still looks the same. But the inside, something's changed. Now, you can't really see what's there, but you know it's there. But what happens if I try to open this? Want to give it a shot? Well, I think we all know it's going to be a huge mess if I did this, right? And that's exactly what I want to talk about today. The things that we don't see on the inside. And I'm referring to our emotions, our fears, our beliefs. What we don't see doesn't mean they're not there. In fact, they are always there shaping everything that we do. Now, I want to take you back to December 2019. And that is where I left my job as a manager in a consulting firm to start a training business. And I could still remember, I thought I had it all planned out and figured it out. I thought I was ready. I had savings, I had plans, I had prospects. I was confident because I had a few talks in line and I was going to secure a few projects. Then came March 2020, and I could still remember what happened then. Lockdowns everywhere, trainings got cancelled, calls had no answer. And for months, I told myself, I'm fine, this is just temporary, I just need to try harder. Yeah? Now, quick check. How many of you here have ever said, I'm fine, when you're not fine? Show of hands. Yeah, be honest. Yeah, me too. So thanks, I don't feel so lonely. See, for months, I was that guy, smiling on video calls, posting motivational contents on LinkedIn, and making calls after calls just to get a client. On the outside, I look hopeful, but on the inside, conversations sounded like this. Why is this not working? Why is no one picking up my call? Someone's got to say yes to me eventually, right? See, just like this bottle over here, look okay on the outside, but the fears and doubt were fizzing like crazy. What if this doesn't work out? What if this is permanent? What if I become a burden to my family? And did I make a huge mistake of leaving my stable job? All those just kept playing through. Week after week, I do the same, I say the same thing. But when weeks turn into months without a single maybe, that's when it hits hard. It's like rubbing salt on wound. But from my work, it has taught me one thing, or a few things. You gotta keep pushing, you gotta stay positive, and don't show weakness. And that's what I did. I shoved it all in, and I kept going. Then something started to happen. Instead of making 50 calls every day, I could barely make 30. Instead of posting content daily like I planned to, I was lucky if I even managed to get 2 in that week. I started skipping business support meetings because I had no results to share. I thought, maybe I'm just tired. Maybe I need more sleep. But even when I slept more, I'd still wake up feeling heavy, sometimes short of breath, and sometimes body aching all over. And still I told myself, keep pushing, keep trying harder. I did. I went with the flow. Until one day, one lunch with my mom. And my mom, she's my biggest supporter. And you know how moms are? If you eat with them, and you don't talk for a long time, they will ask you questions to break the ice. And she did. She asked, "So, how's business? Do you need help?" Now, I don't know what came over me, but here's what I said. "Yeah, I'm okay. Stop asking me if I need help." And I quickly finished what I ate and I stormed off. Now, I know. I knew what I did was wrong, but I just couldn't help it. Then came a call with my partner. And my partner, she always has this way of seeing right through you. And she knew that something was off. So in our call, she gently asked me, "Baby, are you really okay?" That's when I cracked. Everything started pouring out. The fear, the shame, the exhaustion of pretending everything was okay. And it just kept flowing. I couldn't stop even if I wanted to. But all I could hear on the other end is, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She listened. She really listened. And she let me go on. And when I was done, she said something, and that changed me. She said, "Dear, you keep showing that you're okay, even when you're not okay. And that's what's breaking you." She was right. I wasn't releasing the pressure. I was suppressing it, just like this bottle. And it was leaking in the worst ways, like how it did with my mom and how it did with my partner. Let me ask all of you here. Have you ever had someone who could see right through you? Raise your hands. Yeah? These people are gifts. They're like angels, eh? So after that call with my partner, I decided I needed to do something about it. And so I did what I learned in emotional intelligence. I paused. And not to say that I stop everything I do, I just pause for a moment and really pay attention to what's happening inside. First, I gave myself permission. I gave myself the time and space to feel what I was feeling. Because emotions, they are information. You can't logic your way out, even if you want to. You have to really listen to them. And then I sat with sadness, and I let anger rise, and I let confusion be confusing. And I slowly acknowledged what was there. Here's the thing, if we don't pay attention to them, we'll never figure out what's going on. And I remember what I had learned before. It's okay to not be okay. It's just how I'm responding in an impossible situation. Then I try to understand what these emotions were telling me. What was I scared of? And what was really weighing me down? And that's where I realized that I was chasing certainty in uncertain times. And that I was comparing my day one with someone else's day 1,000. No wonder it felt so heavy and helpless. And only from there, I could shift my perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I started asking, what can I learn from this? And what does success actually mean to me? Not to others, not to my industry, but to me. And you'll be surprised that by shifting your questions, you'll start finding answers. Only then, finally, I could engage differently. So, I took small steps. I made one call, one post, one conversation at a time. I stopped chasing results and I started focusing on showing up, doing the work, and trusting the process. And you know what happened then? In September 2020, my first deal came true. And then another. And then it kept coming. For a moment, I asked myself, wait, is this real? Is this really happening? After many months of hard work, I could finally see some results. Was it luck? Well, I believe that luck happens when preparation meets opportunity. And here's the thing, when you stop fighting what's beneath the surface and you start working with it instead, that's when real change happens. So let's see. Remember this? So you see what I did there? I released the pressure slowly. So instead of an explosive mess, we get controlled release. Same pressure, just different approach. And you know what? When you handle pressure properly, instead of fighting it, you work with it. It's actually quite refreshing. And here's the beautiful part. It wasn't just my business. Months later, my partner told me this. Dear, you look like you've changed. You sound more energetic, you're livelier, and you're more present when you're with me. You see, sometimes the changes that we make are more obvious to others than to ourselves. So right now, I want you to think of a situation where you said you were fine, but you know that the pressure's building inside. Right? Think of that moment, think of that one situation. You got it? That's your moment. That's your moment to pause. And that's an invitation to also do something about it. And it's important for us to pause every now and then, because in my line of work, especially in Malaysian workplaces, I see that teams who look like they work well together, but there's frustration no one's talking about. I see leaders who look confident on the outside, but on the inside fighting imposter syndrome. I see projects that fail, not because the strategy was bad, but because someone was too afraid to say what they saw coming. And just months ago, I worked with a team who kept saying, no problem, to an impossible deadline. 3 weeks later, 2 people called in sick with food poisoning on the same day. Is it really food poisoning? Or is it pressure sickness? You see, in our culture, we value harmony, we protect face, and we avoid conflict. But what we don't address don't disappear. In fact, they go underneath, quietly breaking everything that we are building. And it's just like those sinkholes that recently appear here and there, right? Crazy, yeah? On the surface, the road looks fine, the building looks solid, but underneath, the ground's been shifting, slowly and surely. And when the pressure got too big, it cracked open. And what looked stable before isn't stable anymore. So here's what I've learned. The pressure, it's always there. It's how we handle it that matters. Do we let it build until it explodes? Or do we learn to release it slowly, little by little? Now, your next breakthrough isn't working harder on the surface, but it's taking the courage to look beneath it, to look inside. So I want to invite you to do something today, and I hope you do. Ask someone that you trust. Find someone that you could trust and listen to them, ask this one question. Can you tell that I'm not okay even when I say I'm okay? And really listen to them. Now, if they say yes, that's a reminder you don't have to carry the pressure alone. If they say no, that's important information too. It really means that you've gotten so good at hiding, maybe too good, and maybe it's time for you to let someone in. Now, either way, that's your moment to pause, to face what's inside, and to release it slowly, just like this bottle. Because what we don't see on the inside shapes everything we do. But when we have the courage to face it, to work with it, that's when we truly rise above. Thank you very much.